The purpose of this video is to explain to my students how to subtract mixed numbers. Now, I showed a video to my students just previous to this one about how to add mixed numbers, so they should have a pretty good background about mixed numbers. We've been doing a little bit of work with these, so this should be just building on knowledge that they already have. Now, here we have a question. The question asks, how many more cups of pumpkin seeds are needed than cups of sunflower seeds? Now, leading up to this, we were using examples about trail mix, and in our example, we talked about how there were 2 1/4 cups pumpkin seeds, and there was 1 2/3 cup of sunflower seeds. So, how many more cups of pumpkin seeds are there than sunflower seeds? So let's go ahead and excuse me. Let's go ahead and give some work area space here. Now, if I were a 6th grade student, one of the first things I would do is I'd write down the problem. 2 1/4 subtract 1 2/3. Now our unit measure is cups, and we'll include that in our answer. There is more than one way that we can approach solving this problem. One of our ways is we can leave this as mixed numbers, or we can make it into improper fractions. Either way we go, though, we're going to have to come up with like denominators. Let's use a method where we don't create improper fractions so much as converting both mixed numbers into improper fractions. Let's leave them as mixed numbers and just work with our fractional parts. Now, if we do that, we can see that this is 1/4 take away 2/3, and that just cannot happen. So we're going to have to do just a little bit of playing around with that. Before we go that far, let's go ahead and make like denominators. We have a 4 and a 3, the 4 and a 3 here. Our like denominators should be 12. 12 is the least common multiple of 4 and 3, so 12 would be our least common denominator. 3 times 4 gives us 12, so if I times this denominator by 4, I must multiply the numerator by 4, and that will give us 8. Now, 4 times 3 gave us 12. If I multiply the denominator by 3, I must multiply the numerator by 3. 1 times 3 is 3. Now, we cannot subtract 8 from 3. That cannot happen, but we can take one of our wholes from this 2, add it on with our fraction to make an improper fraction, and we can do it that way. So if I take one of my wholes away from these 2 wholes, I can convert the whole that I took away into 12 over 12. Now, where do I get 12 over 12? Because we always want to add or subtract using like denominators, and here we have 12, my denominator has to be 12. A whole is equal to a fraction whose numerator and denominator is the same. If 12 is the denominator, then 12 must be the numerator. 12 over 12 is equal to a whole. 4 over 4 is equal to a whole. 5 over 5 is equal to a whole. We want 12 over 12 because we need that like denominator. So 3 twelfths plus 12 twelfths is going to give us 15 twelfths. Now we only add the numerators, the denominator stays the same. So here we have 1 15 twelfths, which is equivalent to 2 1/4. Subtract 1 8 twelfths, which is equivalent to 1 2/3. So here I can say 15 twelfths subtract 8 twelfths. 15 take away 8 is 7, and then I can bring my 12 on down. 1 take away 1 is 0, so 7 twelfths cups is our answer. So back to our original question that it wants to know how many more cups of pumpkin seeds are there than sunflower seeds, there are 7/12 cup more pumpkin seeds than sunflower seeds. That's one way of solving the problem. Another way is to convert our fractions, our mixed numbers, into improper fractions and do it that way. Let's see how it'll work. And I'll use a different color ink just to kind of help differentiate. So once again, we have 2 and 1/4. Subtract 1 and 2/3. Okay. Now let's go ahead and convert both of those mixed numbers into improper fractions. And an improper fraction is simply a fraction whose numerator is larger than the denominator. So, and in the previous video I showed one way of converting a mixed number to a improper fraction would be kind of like a formula like this, where you take the denominator, you times it by the whole, represented by this W, and then you add the numerator, and that will give you your new numerator. Your denominator will stay the same. So here we have 3 times 1 gives us 3, plus 2 gives us 5. So here we have 5/3. And here 4 times 2 gives us 8. 8 plus 1 gives us 9. 9/4. So we have 2 improper fractions, but we have unlike denominators, 4 and 3. So just like when we had to come up with like denominators up here, we're going to have to do the same down here. And we already know that 12 is the least common multiple of 3 and 4, so we'll put it here. 3 times 4 gave us 12, so if I times the denominator by 4, I must multiply the numerator by 4. 5 times 4 gives me 20. 4 times 3 gave us 12, so if I times 4 by 3, I must multiply the 9 by 3. 9 times 3 equals 27. 27, take away 20, is going to give us 7, and then our denominator stays the same. So 7/12 cups. Now we got the same answer. We got 7/12 here, we got 7/12 here. Both method will work. It just depends on which method do you want to use. Personally, I prefer this method here. This is the one that I like to use because it's a lot easier to keep everything straight. Some people have a hard time converting a mixed number into this and leaving one alone and then coming up with like denominators. This, I think, is a little bit neater. Now, use whichever method, though, is easiest and best for you, because as you see, either way you go, you still get the same correct answer. I hope this video helped explain how to subtract mixed numbers. Thank you.